Hey y'all. Well, it feels like I have not posted in a long time, but I know it's probably been a couple of days, child. But I wanted to talk about something that has been coming up for me. And by coming up, it means that it's just repeat lessons, just something back to back to back to back to back. Like it comes up in conversations. I may read something, hear something on TV, just engage in a conversation with a random person. Nothing is random. And I did air quotes, but you couldn't see it because it was off camera. And by camera, I mean my iPhone, child. But one of the things that keeps coming up is standing in your truth. I talk about that a whole lot. But just being unbound, meaning not falling in line with what society has dictated for you to do, your culture has stated you have to do, or even your personal or former personal belief system, your BS system, has said you have to do, even if it's every day, getting up and fixing breakfast for your kids and your husband, honey, or going on that job that you cannot stand, and kikiing with a whole bunch of people who you know don't have your back, honey. And those are just examples. That doesn't mean that everybody does it. But one of the things that came up for me was, it happened over the weekend. I went to a women's empowerment group, and one of the things that I noticed was a theme in that group. And I probably noticed this because I'm just old heathen, and by heathen I mean in the traditional sense. But there's a lot of, you're not worthy, of God's grace. You are your past, you are your mistakes. You are what you did to somebody 20 years ago. You need to hold on to that and make that the cornerstone, child, of what not to do again. And I was sitting there, and one of the women made the statement, if you believe that that you got everything together, then your best decision making got you sitting right here, in this meeting. And I was thinking to myself, well, I am in this meeting, child, with these women, honey, and enjoying myself, but I got my shit together. And I got my shit together because there's only one me. There's only one person in this entire world who has had the experience of being Marianne. There's only one person in this entire universe, for that matter, who has lived my life, walked in my shoes, thought my thoughts, and created my evolving belief systems. And I was like, I am not going to ever allow anybody to define my experience. I get to define my experience, and my experience might change from day to day. It might change from hour to hour. It may change from moment to moment, and that's okay. Sometimes I'm going to operate in the black and the white. Sometimes I'm going to operate in the gray, and sometimes I'm going to operate through rose-tinted glasses, honey, and that's okay for me because that's my experience. That's my journey. So I'm saying all this to say what? You remember the story of the crucifixion with Jesus? I'm going to try to sum this up real quick. And when he came back, one of the disciples, I think it was Thomas, because doubting Thomas, right? Didn't believe it was Jesus, honey. Didn't believe that he had rose from the dead. And he was like, well, child, if you really, Jesus, let me see where they crucified you. Let me see the holes in your hands and your feet, honey. Because he had a whole bunch of shade about him. Probably shook his head when he said it. And Jesus was like, well, child, well, here, go ahead and see him. I ain't got a lot to kick it. So, what I didn't hear in that story was Jesus going on and on about how God had forsaken him and crucified him. And woe was him because woe was him, child. And woe is me, rather, that, I had to get up on that cross and die for all y'all sins. Let me throw it up in your face and tell you every time I see you how, I didn't suffer. Jesus didn't say none of that. I ain't never read that in the Bible. What I read was that he came back glorifying God and talking about how he had been redeemed, honey. How he had all power in his hands. And I think that's the story of how we have to be. When stuff happens to us, when we are crucified for our beliefs and for our ways of life, and because other people don't understand our walk and our talk, we don't have to give that breath and credence by continuing to talk about it. You don't have to fall in love with your story, but you do have to rewrite it. Not fall in love with it. Telling everybody and everybody who has an ear, child, about what happened and who did you wrong and all that. I have made that mistake. I literally had to purge that in a book. And in that book, it also talks about how to, stop falling in love with your story and how to wake the fuck up. But you can't fall in love with your story. Your story is what happened. Your future is what's unfolding. Instead of, complaining and whining and not feeling good enough because of a mistake that you made 20 years ago, child, enjoy your life. Anybody that can't forgive you for something that happened a million years ago, let them wallow in that. Don't you do that. You go on and you enjoy your life. You make whatever peace you need to make with it. If that's asking God for forgiveness, if it is, making amends in other ways, do that. Do whatever it is that you need to do in order to lift that from you. But don't go around feeling like you're not good enough because you did A, B, and C 600 years ago. Child, all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. But you don't stay down. He'll forgive you 77 times, 7 times, child, a day. Is it a day, saints? Because, I ain't read that Bible in a minute, honey. But why are you going to stay down and talk about what happened and judge your entire life on that experience? No. Today I am whole. Today I am complete. Today I am in charge of my life. Today I define my own truths and myself. Today I choose happiness. Today I choose joy. And today I choose to tell all y'all to do the same. I don't know why I got so fired up about that, but yeah, I don't like anybody trying to define my experience for me. That's one thing I will not stand for anymore. No. No. But anyway, that's my truth. I'm sitting up here waiting for Marlene Yvette, honey. She was supposed to be here at 11 o'clock. It's 11:13, honey. She's talking about she running a little late. Child, I knew that when I came here on time. I said, well, I have time to do a video. Sure enough, the video is done. But anyway, I will let y'all go. I'll probably do another video on Friday, but we'll see because I've been doing a lot of writing lately. Y'all keep me in prayer, honey, because the writer's block is trying to creep in. But anyway, love yourself. Bye, family.